The night was heavy with silence, the kind that presses against your chest and makes every sound sharper. At 3:02 a.m., D. Carter didn't stir to an alarm or a dream. He woke to a metallic saw-click saw, not loud, but deliberate, like a surgeon's scalpel testing flesh. It was the front door's lock, probed with intent. His hand moved before his mind fully registered, fingers brushing the cold steel of the pistol on his nightstand. He didn't lift it. Not yet. His eyes flicked to the bedside clock, its red glow slicing through the dark. Then came the creak of the doorframe. In the hallway stood his son, Ethan, 17, tall but not yet filled out, his face pale under the moonlight spilling through a window. Fear clung to him, not wild but tight, controlled. DVYD's gaze met Ethan's, and no words were needed. The boy tugged a hoodie over his t-shirt, his breath shallow but steady. He knew the house shouldn't sound like this. DVYD slid from bed, bare feet silent on the hardwood, his movements fluid, honed by years in Delta Force. No panic, no rush, just a predator's focus, always there, coiled beneath the surface. He crouched by the nightstand, easing open the bottom drawer. Inside lay a Springfield M1A, untouched for months but pristine, loaded, ready. Next to it, a customized Remington 870, its barrel shortened for tight spaces. Then came the sound he hadn't heard since Kandahar, metal snapping clean. The lock gave way, and the front door slammed open, rattling the glass in the levying room. A voice barked, loud but off-kilter. "Housing Department! Hands where we can see 'em!" DVYD's pulse didn't spike. His mind carved the moment into fragments. Saw Housing Department? At 3 a.m.? Bullshit. Saw the cadence was wrong, no tactical rhythm. Footsteps stomped up the stairs, careless, arrogant. Ethan backed against the bedroom doorframe, eyes wide but still. DVYD gave a faint nod, saw stay low, stay quiet, saw. Two figures emerged in the hallway, black masks obscuring their faces. One clutched a taser, the other a shotgun, modded to look fierce but balanced poorly, a gun show special. Across their chests, in peeling white letters, saw HOA police, saw. DVYD stepped forward, slow, deliberate, his feet gliding as if the floor might shatter. The taller intruder turned. That was his mistake. DVYD fired once, center mass, the shot clean and final. The man tumbled back, crashing against the wall with a dull thud. The second froze, fatal hesitation. DVYD swung the Remington up, finger tight on the trigger. The blast roared, lifting the man off his feet, his body crumpling like a discarded puppet. Silence fell, thick and sudden. Ethan gripped the doorframe, his breathing ragged, his hoodie damp with sweat. "Dad," he whispered, voice breaking. "Who saw where saw they?" DVYD scanned the hall, shotgun still raised. "Not yet," he said, calm as if noting the time. "They weren't cops. They were fools who picked the wrong house." He stepped over the body by the stairs, plucked a radio from his belt, and spoke evenly. "This is DVYD Carter, 174 Pinewood Lane. Forced entry. 2 armed suspects, 1 down, 1 critical. Home defense. Send county units." He released the button, no inflection, just facts. Then he slid down against the wall, shotgun across his knees, the house dark except for a faint streetlight glow. Ethan stared at the case, blood pooling, the door hanging on broken hinges. It didn't feel real. For DVYD, it never stopped being real. 6 minutes later, sirens screamed, and red-blue lights painted the trees. DVYD stood on his porch, shoulders square, gaze unyielding, like he was back at a desert checkpoint, not a suburban home. A young deputy shouted, "Hands where I can see 'em, Mr. Carter!" But before he could advance, Sheriff Mark Lawson, mid-50s, boots worn but steady, waved him down. "Easy," Lawson muttered. "This man doesn't shoot without cause." DVYD nodded toward the hall. "I had one. 1 down, 1 barely breathing. Get him to the ER if you want answers." Inside, one intruder lay slumped at the stairs, his uniform soaked red, chest heaving in shallow gasps. He hadn't expected resistance, let alone a man who'd hunted insurgents in mountains. The other was still, no pulse. Lawson knelt, gloved hand tracing the saw. HOA police saw patched sheep, crooked, the word saw authority saw missing a letter. He stood, muttering. They spelled it wrong. Outside, a black van sat on the lawn, its VYNYL decal matching the patch, equally shoddy. Inside were fake EVY Denke kits, clipboards with scribbled notes, and HOA branded forms, all inkjet printed, flimsy. Lawson ran a hand down his face. Someone's funding this. They had your gate code, knew your layout. This wasn't random. De VYD crossed his arms. Think they picked me by chance? Lawson met his eyes. No. They either didn't know you, or they knew exactly who you were and thought you'd flinch. The wind stirred dry leaves. A helicopter thumped faintly. News or police, who could tell? They tested the wrong door, De VYD said. Lawson glanced at the house. No. They tested the right one. They just failed. By morning, Pinewood Estates buzzed with whispers. The pristine suburb, once obsessed with lawn care, now murmured of fake cops and midnight raids. The HOA's statement was sterile, posted online and pinned beside yoga flyers, saw we are unaware of any indie duels involved. Pinewood Estates HOA does not authorize home inspections or enforcement outside legal procedure. We're cooperating with law enforcement. Saw it felt too polished, too quick. De VYD read it, his jaw tight, hand curling the page's edge. Someone had used the HOA as a mask, and they hadn't chosen him randomly. They knew his routine, that he had no dog, that Ethan slept upstairs, that police response took 7 minutes. What they didn't know was De VYD Carter. Ethan, at the kitchen island, laptop open, broke the silence. Dad, look at this. His fingers flew, pulling up buried headlines, unauthorized housing inspections, fake officials harassing homeowners, a teen missing after an HOA stop. No charges, no follow-ups. They're testing neighborhoods, Ethan said, voice low. Soft targets, responses, maybe mapping them. De VYD's eyes narrowed, a knot tightening in his chest. We bring it to light, he said, his voice steel settling into stone. This was war, quiet, dirty, fought with secrets and exposure. The HOA meeting hall gleamed under morning light, but the air was taut, chairs creaking with unease. De VYD entered silently, dark jacket zipped, taking a corner seat where shadows pooled but sight lines stayed clear. He wasn't here to talk. He was here to watch. At the podium stood Edward Hayes, HOA president, late 50s, silver hair perfect, glasses perched just so. His smile sold trust, but today it faltered. We're addressing the recent incident, he began, voice fragile. 2 intruders, 1 deceased, 1 hospitalized. They weren't acting under our authority. He sighed. We can't control who enters our neighborhood. De VYD stood, slow, deliberate. Every head turned. Can't control it? He said, voice low but sharp. Your waiver promised surveillance, gate logs, plate readers. You're saying no one shared that with the sheriff? Hayes blinked, hands gripping the podium. We're reviewing footage, Mr. Carter. Some files are corrupted. De VYD stepped forward, dropping a flash drive on the table. The saw click saw echoed. You won't need to. That's footage from 2 nights before. Their van, same misspelled logo, entered at 11:47 p.m. No code, no ID, but the gate opened. Someone had a key. The room stirred, whispers rising. Hayes stammered, but De VYD turned, Leah VYing the drive untouched, its truth already burning. Days later, another attack shook Pinewood. Michael Reed, a retired Navy vet, was ambushed at night, beaten in his driveway, left bloody but alive. It wasn't theft, it was a warning. Lawson called the VYD at dawn. They're hunting. You're next or you're bait. The VYD said one word. Understood. His home became a fortress. Biometric locks, thermal drones, motion sensors from old contacts who asked no questions. Ethan, sharp and brave, was sent away, A one-way ticket to safety. Why now? The boy asked. De Vyd's hand rested on his shoulder. If this ends how I think, you don't want to be here. And I can't fight if I'm watching you. Ethan nodded, jaw tight, and left. De Vyd locked the gate, the trap set. At 2:58 a.m., a sensor pinged. De Vyd, already awake in the basement, watched the control panel glow. Shadows moved 4, maybe 5, disciplined, professional. No sloppy costumes now, tactical armor, suppressed rifles, synchronized. A controlled explosion breached the back door, funneled as De Vyd planned. Floodlights blazed, sirens wailed, steel bars locked down. He moved, Remington in hand, a pistol slung low. The fight was 6 minutes, each second carved in his mind. 3 died downstairs, 1 too eager, 1 caught in a kill zone, 1 who hesitated. The 4th went upstairs, silent, skilled. The guest room firefight was brutal, 10 seconds of precise shots. A bullet grazed De Vyd's shoulder, pain sharp but irrelevant. He ended it, then sat, blood seeping, pistol on his thigh. 2 escaped, their blood trailing. The message was sent. Lawson arrived, seeing the carnage. 1 attacker's ID read saw Pinewood HOA security saw. You said they weren't involved? De Vyd said flatly. Lawson's jaw tightened. That's what I was told. The gear was real, the men trained. You were supposed to be gone before we figured it out, Lawson said. De Vyd waited, silent. At the hearing, Hayes crumbled. A third-party contract, he stammered, but the commissioner's gavel cut him off. He'd signed clearances, taken kickbacks to scare residents, forcing sales for profit. De Vyd had broken their game. Outside, Lawson muttered, You stopped it. De Vyd nodded. They picked the wrong house. He walked through flashing cameras, questions ignored. Victory wasn't fame, it was Ethan, safe. And if they came again, De Vyd Carter would fire first and ask nothing.